Deep in the whispering woods, where sunlight dappled through leaves, lived a little squirrel. He wasn't just any squirrel. Oh no, this squirrel was known throughout the woods for his bravery. The trees whispered his name in the wind. "Sonny, Sonny the brave," they seemed to say. But what new adventure awaited him today? He twitched his little nose, sniffing the air. Something was different. Something was wrong. Where was the usual cheerful morning chatter of the forest creatures? Sonny was no ordinary squirrel. He was brave and clever, with a heart full of kindness. His fur was the color of sunshine, and his tail twitched with excitement whenever he was on to a new adventure. He lived in a cozy dray high up in an old oak tree, its branches laden with the tastiest acorns. Sonny loved to share his acorns with the other animals. He believed everyone should have a full tummy and a happy heart. But today, something felt off. The forest was unusually quiet, and a strange worry nibbled at Sonny's heart. On a crisp autumn morning with golden sunlight streaming through the leaves, Sonny the squirrel scampered energetically down his favorite old oak tree. The air was filled with the scent of fallen leaves and the gentle rustle of the forest waking up. Sonny's bushy tail flicked with excitement as he hurried to greet the day, his tiny paws barely making a sound on the rough bark. He had been dreaming all night about the delicious acorns he'd hidden away for the coming winter, and he couldn't wait to check on his stash. As soon as he reached the ground, Sonny looked around and called out to his best friend, Rosie the robin. Rosie was always nearby in the mornings, ready to share stories and help Sonny with his daily adventures. But today the forest felt different, quieter, almost as if it was holding its breath. "Rosie, where is everyone, and why is it so quiet today?" Sonny asked, his voice echoing softly among the trees. He glanced around, noticing that the usual chatter of the woodland creatures was missing. The forest, usually alive with the sounds of birds and rustling animals, seemed strangely still. Rosie soon appeared, perching on a low branch above Sonny. She cocked her head to one side, her bright eyes full of concern and curiosity. The little robin seemed to be searching for the right words, her feathers ruffling in the cool breeze. "Oh, Sonny," she chirped, her voice trembling just a little. "Haven't you heard? All the acorns are missing. Someone stole them during the night. The whole forest is in an uproar. The mice, the chipmunks, even the jays. Everyone's searching, but no one can find a single acorn left behind." Sonny's eyes grew wide with alarm, his heart pounding in his chest. No acorns? That meant winter would be very hard for everyone. He remembered how important those acorns were. Not just for him, but for all the animals who depended on them to survive the cold months ahead. The thought of his friends going hungry made him shiver, even though the sun was shining. Without acorns to store, many animals would go hungry. The forest floor, usually scattered with nuts and seeds, was bare except for a few dry leaves. Sonny could see his neighbors, hedgehogs, mice, and even a family of deer, searching desperately among the roots and under the bushes, hoping to find just one acorn left behind. Sonny felt a surge of determination. He had to do something. He couldn't let his friends go hungry, not when they all depended on each other to get through the winter. He took a deep breath, his mind racing with ideas. Maybe, just maybe, if he worked together with Rosie and the other animals, they could solve the mystery and save the day. But who could have taken all the acorns, and where could they be? Sonny knew that finding the missing acorns wouldn't be easy, but he was ready for the challenge. With Rosie by his side and the whole forest depending on him, Sonny set off to uncover the truth, determined to bring hope back to his woodland home. Sonny sat very still, thinking hard. His bushy tail twitched back and forth as an idea began to form in his mind. He would find the missing acorns. "Don't worry, Rosie," Sonny said with a determined glint in his eye. "I have a plan." He knew just the animal to ask for help. Finley the fox, the wisest creature in the whispering woods. Finley was known for his cleverness and knowledge of the forest. Surely he could help Sonny unravel the mystery of the missing acorns. Sonny scurried through the undergrowth, his tiny heart pounding with determination. He soon reached Finley's den, nestled beneath the roots of a giant oak tree. "Finley! Finley!" Sonny called out. A wise old face peeked out from the den. Finley the fox had kind eyes and a bushy tail tipped with white. "Well, hello there, Sonny," he said, his voice warm and comforting. "What brings you here in such a hurry?" Sonny explained about the missing acorns and how worried everyone was. "We need your help, Finley," Sonny pleaded. "You know the Whispering Woods better than anyone." Finley listened patiently to Sunny's story, his head cocked to one side, his bright eyes reflecting both curiosity and concern. The gentle rustle of leaves overhead seemed to hush, as if the whole forest was pausing to hear what would happen next. Sunny's words hung in the air, and Finley could sense the weight of the tale, the importance of what was being shared. He knew that sometimes, stories held more than just entertainment. They could hold secrets, warnings, or even the keys to adventure. He mused, stroking his chin thoughtfully, his tiny paw brushing over his whiskers. Finley was not just any squirrel. He was known for his wisdom and his knack for solving mysteries in the woods. He pondered for a moment, recalling tales he'd heard from the elders, stories whispered on the wind about places few dared to go. "You know, Sonny," he began, "there are places in this forest that even the bravest animals avoid. But sometimes the greatest treasures are hidden where we least expect them. There is a place deep in the woods called the Cave of Wonders. It's not marked on any map, and only those with the sharpest eyes and the boldest hearts can find it. The entrance is hidden behind a curtain of thick vines and moss, almost invisible unless you know exactly where to look. Some say the cave was formed by ancient magic. Others believe it's as old as the forest itself, but all agree that it's a place of mystery and awe. Legend has it," Finley continued, his voice low and mysterious, "that the cave is filled with treasures beyond imagination. Glittering stones, golden acorns, and rare seeds that could grow the tallest trees. Some animals claim to have glimpsed the light from within, shimmering like 1,000 stars. But no one has ever brought back proof, and the stories have only grown wilder with each retelling. The cave, it is said, rewards those who are pure of heart and brave in spirit. But it is also guarded by a fearsome creature." Sunny shivered despite himself, his tail puffing up in alarm. The story spoke of a shadowy guardian, a beast with eyes that glowed like embers in the darkness. Some said it was a giant owl, others whispered of a serpent with scales as hard as stone. Whatever it was, it kept the cave's secrets safe from those who would seek treasure for selfish reasons. Sunny's imagination ran wild, picturing all sorts of monsters lurking in the shadows. A fearsome creature? What could it be? Sunny's voice trembled, barely above a whisper. He glanced nervously at the dark entrance of the cave, half expecting to see a pair of glowing eyes staring back at him. The unknown was always the scariest part, and Sunny's mind raced with questions. Was the creature real, or just a story to keep curious animals away? Would they be able to outsmart it, or would they have to turn back before even reaching the treasure? But Sunny knew he had to be brave. He took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. The fate of the forest might depend on what they found inside the Cave of Wonders. If the legends were true, the treasures within could help all the animals, perhaps even save their home from the coming drought. Sunny straightened his back, determination shining in his eyes. He remembered the stories his mother used to tell him, about heroes who faced their fears and discovered their true strength. The fate of the forest depended on him. All around, the trees seemed to whisper encouragement, their leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Birds chirped overhead, and somewhere in the distance a brook babbled cheerfully. Sunny felt the weight of responsibility, but also the support of the entire woodland community. He knew he wasn't alone, and that gave him courage. The adventure ahead would be dangerous, but it was also a chance to prove himself and help those he cared about. "Will you come with me, Finley?" Sunny asked, his voice trembling slightly but filled with hope. He looked at his friend, searching for reassurance. The journey would be perilous, and Sunny knew he couldn't do it alone. He needed someone he could trust, someone who would stand by his side no matter what dangers they faced. Finley had always been there for him, through thick and thin, and Sunny hoped this time would be no different. Finley smiled, his eyes twinkling with excitement and loyalty. He placed a reassuring paw on Sunny's shoulder, his confidence contagious. "Of course, Sunny," he replied warmly. "There's no adventure too great for friends who stick together. Besides, I've always wanted to see if the legends were true." Finley's smile grew wider, and for a moment all of Sunny's fears melted away. "Of course, Sunny. A true friend is always there to help." And so, side by side, the two friends prepared to face the unknown, their hearts full of courage and hope, ready to discover the secrets of the Cave of Wonders together. Together, Sunny and Finley set off on their adventure. They followed a winding path deeper and deeper into the whispering woods, the trees growing taller and darker around them. Finally they reached a clearing, and there, nestled between two towering rocks, was the entrance to the Cave of Wonders. The entrance was dark and mysterious, covered in tangled vines. "Look!" Sunny exclaimed, pointing with a trembling paw. Behind the vines they could just make out a small opening. Working together they pushed and pulled until the vines were cleared, revealing a secret entrance to the cave. Sunny and Finley paused at the mouth of the mysterious cave, their tiny hearts pounding with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The forest behind them was alive with the sounds of birds and rustling leaves, but inside the cave, everything was still and silent. With a deep breath, the two friends exchanged a determined glance and took their first careful steps into the unknown, their paws barely making a sound on the soft earth. Inside, it was dark and cool, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and moss. The temperature dropped noticeably, sending a shiver down their spines. Every sound seemed to echo off the stone walls, making even the smallest movement feel important. The cave felt ancient, as if it held secrets from long ago, and the squirrel's curiosity grew with every step. As their eyes slowly adjusted to the dim light, Sunny and Finley began to make out shapes in the shadows. At first, everything looked unfamiliar and mysterious, but soon, their keen eyes spotted something that made them stop in their tracks. There, in the faint glow, was a sight neither of them could have imagined. Piles of acorns, more than Sunny had ever seen before, glittered in the darkness. The acorns were stacked in neat mounds, their smooth shells catching the little light that filtered in. It was as if they had stumbled upon a hidden treasure trove, a secret stash that could feed the entire forest through the longest winter. Sunny's eyes sparkled with amazement, and Finley let out a soft gasp of delight. But as they crept closer to the acorns, they noticed something else. Right beside the largest pile, a strange creature was curled up, fast asleep. Its tiny body was covered in soft, bristly spines, and it looked peaceful and content, completely unaware of the two visitors in its home. It was a sleepy hedgehog. The little animal seemed to be dreaming, its nose twitching and tiny paws curled up under its chin. Sunny and Finley watched in awe, realizing that this was the mysterious creature who had gathered all the acorns. The hedgehog, it turned out, had simply been gathering acorns for winter, not realizing it was taking more than its fair share. Day after day, it had collected acorns from all over the forest, thinking only of staying warm and well-fed when the cold months arrived. It never meant to take away from the other animals, but its stash had grown bigger and bigger without anyone noticing. Sunny and Finley gently woke the hedgehog, speaking in soft, friendly voices so as not to startle it. They explained the situation, telling the hedgehog how the other animals had been searching everywhere for the missing acorns and how worried everyone had become. The hedgehog listened carefully, its eyes growing wide with surprise and concern. The hedgehog was very apologetic and promised to share the acorns with everyone. It felt truly sorry for the trouble it had caused and wanted to make things right. Together, the three new friends began to carry the acorns out of the cave, ready to return them to the forest and share their good fortune with all the animals. And so, thanks to Sunny and Finley's courage and kindness, the forest community was reunited and everyone learned the importance of sharing and understanding one another. News of the found acorns spread through the whispering woods like wildfire. Everyone cheered for Sunny, the brave little squirrel who had saved the day. Sunny had faced his fears and used his courage and kindness to help his friends. He had learned that even the scariest creatures are not always what they seem, and so the Whispering Woods was filled with joy and laughter once more. Sunny had proven that even the smallest of creatures can make a big difference with a little courage, a kind heart, and the help of good friends.